Thanks, Chris. Well, I'll give you the key words that most coaches say during the first part of press conference and season. We're excited. Chemistry's good. We're working hard. All the normal things in the first part of the season. But no, seriously, the competition in the gym is really good. For those of you in the gym today, you saw some high-level play from a lot of different people. We'll need that. We'll need our depth. There is an amazing amount of really good teams this year around the country, both in our league and other leagues around. So going to have to be prepared and to play against some of the teams we're going to be playing in the next few weeks. Really positive things from our league last year, obviously, with us and A&M playing in the national championship match. Number of great television matches and attendance all across the league. So really encouraged again by the investment in our sport around our league and the performances of the teams in it. So that's been an awesome thing to continue to see, and just want to encourage our fans again to be in the stands and get behind this team. We will need them for sure all year long.
Go to questions.
Greg, you've had so much success. What is the biggest misconception about being able to sustain that over the course of the year?
Wait, I don't. Let me say that again. Let me understand.
You've had so much success. Now you got to make sure that you continue on this championship run.
Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception that people have about being able to do that?
I don't know if you should be able to do it because you've done it before. I mean, obviously every year is a brand new season with a brand new team, and while we only lost one, player that started for us last year, it's still a completely new group of people that have to learn how to follow and lead and perform under pressure. So, and when the expectations go up, so does the pressure, and so you just have to be able to weather the storms that are going to come out our way, because there will be many.
Greg, what does Morgan bring to the table coming in from Notre Dame?
Well, she's the physical athlete that touches way above the net. I mean, you saw some of the swings that she had in practice today. They're undiggable at times, and she's been a starter, and played all the way around for 2 years at Notre Dame. She hasn't had the experience yet of playing in top 5 matches or, on the road and the sellout crowds and TV, but she's an intense competitor with an immense amount of drive behind her that makes it easy to play with and follow, and, just a great personality with just a hunger, to be really good.
What are your expectations for Cassie as she sort of builds towards her sophomore season?
I'll just continue to get better. I mean, that's really the expectations for everybody. And if you would see the determination she had this summer and the amount of effort she put into her workouts, and I can't be there, but the feedback from her teammates and strength coaches, the way she worked this summer, she wants to earn the things that she gets. And while she continues to get great accolades, she doesn't get consumed in that. So just the ability to want to be better than she was yesterday, and just seeing her in practice today, she made some sets that I did not see her perform last year. So that's really all you can control as an athlete, and I think that's what we expect from her.
What's it say about your team to have 4, I think, preseason player of the year candidates on it? I mean, that's the best in the country.
Yeah, I think it's a sign of respect for them individually, how talented they are, a sign of respect for our program, when you're, expected to, perform at the highest level against the best teams in the country. Theoretically, you're going to have good players. And so, but I think more importantly, it says a lot about their ability to earn the respect of the people that look at us play.
I want to ask you about your shirt. What made you choose to wear that today for Media Day?
I can't say it's my idea, but, we were on the way to the gorge, and Zach, our video guy, said, you should do that. And so, but until we're the top news story in the front page of the sports section, until we're selling out every game, and I'm going to do whatever I can to bring attention to volleyball. And I still think there continue to be more. I mean, is it because of, our budget is the same as the investment, I have no idea why we don't get as much interest and attendance as some other people, but the sellouts we had last year, the attention that was paid to our program. I'm going to do whatever I can to get these guys the respect they deserve, and so it's just another little thing to kind of throw at people, I guess.
Speaking of exposure, Kentucky's one of 4 teams that gets to play at Wrigley Field in the SEC Big Ten Challenge this year. How did the opportunity for Kentucky to be one of the SEC schools in that part of the challenge come about? And I guess what does it say about this program's place in the sport? First of all, the league, along with the Big Ten, decided to do a challenge, and they wanted to do a neutral site event like the SEC and the ACC did last year in the Fort Worth area. I know that the ownership group of the Cubs and family has interest in Kentucky and horses, so there's a connection there. We obviously have a huge alumni base in Chicago, and it's a risk to do something like that, an outdoor venue like Wrigley Field. There's weather concerns, et cetera, that could pop up. But I think that the draw and the success Kentucky volleyball has had over the years within our league, then same thing with Penn State with multiple national championships, Nebraska, and Missouri is the other team that got the opportunity to play. I mean, I think it says a lot about the sport, the SEC, the Big Ten, the challenges that are coming our way, and I just don't know how you don't, pay attention to things like that. What a cool opportunity.
Thank you for giving us a glimpse into practice today. Was that pretty typical? It was very spirited, and how have your practices changed over the course of these past couple of decades?
That was a good practice today, and maybe they want to perform. The cameras in front of them, you guys, eyeballs on them, but I think they also know the immense amount of level of competition that we have in spots, and so they're fighting for themselves and fighting for their teammates, and that's there's effort is a level of expectation we've always had in the program, and you may have heard me. There's 3 reasons why you don't go for a ball: the whistle, ball's out of bounds, or there's danger in the way. And so if a ball's 50 yards away and there's no danger, you keep going until it hits the floor. And so that's the way our teammates, our players expect from themselves and amongst each other. And so they were fighting, and I think they weren't 100% sure, but we track wins and losses of what side of the net wins each time. And so every time you got a chance to play, you're fighting for yourself and if you're winning or not.
Every team in the country would love to have Brooklyn on the roster. What does she bring, and how much has she matured even now going into this last year?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought Brooklyn. Brooklyn's one of the best complete volleyball players I've ever coached, and this program has seen, and she can execute, every skill at a high level, and so, she has the responsibility of performing, and she loves that and loves the chance to compete for Kentucky, and just an amazing person off the floor, and the number of lives and people she's touched outside of volleyball in Lexington and the surrounding area is incredible. So we want our program to be more than just wins and losses, and she exemplifies that every day.
Greg, a lot of freshmen in the mix today. Can you talk about each of them and what you expect from them this season?
Yeah, I mean, there's great competition. You think of Grayson Sailors, we have 3 middles. She's one of those 3, and 6'3", great arm, great kid, great effort. Has a chance to compete to play this year. Sydney Burley, great libero, defensive specialist from Minnesota, incredible athlete. She really got her feet underneath her in the spring, and so that experience will really help to push her to get on the court. Briah Brow, I'm sure you saw there's pictures that we have in our video of her blocking, and her shoulders and face are above the net. So hopefully she doesn't get hit in the face when she's blocking at times. But very athletic. Got a little ways to go in terms of the skill and experience at this level, but way further along than I think we thought as coaches. And so it's been cool to see that in the gym. Caroline Prihoda was at a camp in Houston a couple years ago, and she immediately got my attention the way she won and competed and played, and everyone loves playing with her, and she makes her team better all the time, and so she can set, she can play a little defensive specialist, and then Bellamy Buse from Idaho, one of the best outside hitters in the class, and
Just a great competitor, great skill player, and so it's fun and great personalities to go along with it. They've been a lot of fun to work with so far.
Craig, you do advocate for the sport so much. What does it mean to you, not only to have, like, you've got a lot of national games, but what does it mean to have that Louisville game on a national level?
Yeah, we had a conference call about some TV games, and they, one of the ESPN guys said, hey, let me know if there's a game you think should be, focused. And that has been focused in the past. So I immediately just said, I don't understand why a Louisville-Kentucky volleyball match wouldn't be on ABC. And, hey, look, we've gotten a ton of credit and a ton of respect and interest in our sport, but we're going head-to-head with football. And why wouldn't you want to watch a match like that, even if there is an NFL game on? I get it. I understand how popular football is, but I mean, if you were sitting in that gym in practice, you can see the intensity level and competitive desire of those players, which is no different than what you see in NFL Sundays.
Greg, you talked about all of the returners that are back, but the makeup of this roster is different than last year's team. What are some differences this year that have you excited about what you're going to have this season?
I think that we're very physical. I mean, all the return players are jumping higher and more physical than they were last year. We have 3 players that touch over 10-9, which is pretty crazy to think about, with Lizzie, Morgan, and Bria. So I think knowing that, I think we have a chance to be better defensively, blocking and floor defense, and limit what some teams can do offensively against us. We have to make up a significant amount of first contact serve receive that Eva brought, in the serve receive pattern. So how do we make up for that and score maybe in different ways? I think our middle production needs to be a little bit better to balance out some of the kills that maybe we lost. And we really played unorthodox last year. Asia the thick pin on the right side rarely ever happens. You have a player that's under 6 feet playing over there. And so we just have to find the pieces that make this team compete at the highest level and what that may look like. And so I'm rambling on here, but some different looks and different rotations that maybe people haven't seen before. But we have to execute. I mean, the teams we're playing in the first few weeks are ridiculous. So we've got to learn how to execute and do it for a long period of time.
Thinking back to last year's team, it seemed like sometimes Eva's personality could spur on the team as much as her play.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have someone on the team this year who can light a fire like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot to put on one particular player, but I've seen some edginess of people that maybe I didn't see last year, not because Eva stifled that, but just because they didn't need to bring it. And so I've seen some competitive juices from people like Cassie and Brooklyn and Molly, and trying to pull it out of, Kennedy Washington is someone that's personality is all of a sudden it's like, oh, there she is, and so I think could be more of a collective group, which theoretically could be more powerful. It's more people doing it, but again, it's such a new team and new battles. It's going to be. We'll have to see it, when the lights come on.
Craig, a lot of coaches from a lot of sports like to talk about their non-conference schedule being challenging, but you, from year to year, seem to put the best teams literally on that non-conference schedule. What does that do for this group?
Well, sometimes it's intentional. Other times you're asked to play in some of these events. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, we aren't trying to be our best August 21st against Wisconsin, August 23rd against Pittsburgh. We're trying to be our best in December. And so we will find out very quickly the things that we're really good at and the things that we need to improve on. And we will not find that out, and no disrespect to Ohio. They're not the same level as Wisconsin and Pittsburgh, and so, but they will provide different challenges that we will need to rise up and perform against. So they just expose things that you're equally good at and not good at.
It feels like roster retention is becoming more and more important. How are you able to do that with this group, or at least return most of your key players, and how important will that be for this team going forward?
It's a good question. Again, I've tried to, and our staff has really tried to develop a destination place where people want to be there, and it's a development transformational program that sees people go from one thing to another, and there's a lot of appealing programs out there and a lot of appealing places, but I think it's cool to have, a group of seniors that have been here for a while that care more about this program than any senior group in the country or that's been here before them. And when you have people in leadership positions that care a lot about the program they're in, it's contagious. And we've had to adapt. I mean, obviously the NIL revenue sharing world has changed my job tremendously and what I need to focus on and how I need to operate. And, with Jay being here and what his philosophy will be with all that stuff, those are ongoing, continuing conversations we will have with our administration and players. And so it's, like I said in the marketing group earlier, and, if you don't like change and adapting, you'll like your relevance less. So.
What have your conversations been with Jay Batt so far and your impressions of him?
Yeah, really positive. I mean, he's got some contagious energy and he's motivated to be really good. He's expressed the desire to, do everything he can to provide the resources for volleyball to continue to maintain at the highest level. And, he's open. His communication lines are open 24/7, and just texting Sunday night about something. So you feel good that you feel that he's next to you and wants you to be successful, but he's also going to do everything he can in today's day and age of Division I athletics to provide the resources for us to do what we want, because it's not just about winning and reputation now, it's about a lot of things, and he understands that.
Now, you and your staff have always been known for developing players, and obviously recent changes where you can now play 5 years. How does that change things in the sport of volleyball specifically?
Well, quite a bit. I mean, we've had very productive ongoing conversations with our seniors about, what that looks like for them and us. And, they're very encouraging in terms of what their desires are. And, will be conversations with administration to maintain that. But you'll see that across the board. And obviously the ruling last week in Colorado presents a whole other thing. And, Eva Hudson would love to come back for a 5th year. But, that pathway, it doesn't exist right now. And so every Monday, it seems like you got to be, okay, what's new this week? What's new next week? And just take all the information in and make the right decision for us. And sometimes the right decision for us isn't the right decision for another program. And it's pretty, I think if you asked any athlete, most athletes that played college sports, they would love to play 5 years. And so how do you navigate all that while also being true to your commitments to other people and recruits and players in your program right now?
Greg, you've been doing this a long time. You still seem very focused and energized. What are you most excited about this year?
Just the enthusiasm and effort by the players, and our staff just gives me a great deal of excitement to do this over and over again. And there's times when it's like, man, this is grind, this is tough, I don't know how many years I can do it, but if you coach a group like this, you don't see the end in sight. So it's we're in the business of people, and always have been, always will be. And to the 5 for 5 and the NIL and revenue share, if you lose sight of that, you really lose sight of what we're here to do and teach and help people evolve. And this group helps motivate me each and every day.
Greg, today was our first look at Bryn. Can you talk a little bit about how you're integrating her into this team and the importance of adding another setter to this roster especially?
Yeah, Bryn has a great deal of experience. She loves the game. She's a volleyball junkie. She loves to get out there and play. Her personality is contagious with the people she's playing with. She has accountability for herself. She takes ownership in her side of the court. She's won at a high level, at Arizona State, done a really good job for them. And so, I think you really see that competition between her and Cassie. They push each other to be their best. And along with Caroline, I mean, it's a really cool setting group that is very selfless in the way they go about things. And Bryn is definitely that way. But she has a really good understanding of the game and high IQ of how and when to be successful on particular plays.
You guys are projected to win the league again. Obviously, you already mentioned last year's national title matchup, but how are you seeing the SEC expand and develop, and how does that serve your program?
Yeah. It's a cool sign of respect from your peers to get voted to, repeat. We spent about this much energy, worrying about that. But, last year, when you look at the box score and you see the thousands of people that are in the stands watching us here on the road or different parts of the league, that also motivates me, to want to continue to do more, because our players deserve that type of respect and interest from both fans and media. And so, I think the investment that schools around the league have put into volleyball is significant, and I don't think it's stopping. And so we also need to keep up. I tell our players all the time, we're chasing somebody and someone's chasing us. And so if you're standing still, you're going to get passed. And so I think that while our sport continues to go like this, we can't stop looking for what's next. And so maybe shirts like this help get a few more people in the stands, but it's fun.
Your back row is deep and talented, led by Molly Tuzzo. Can you just talk about how important they will be to the success of this team?
Very important. As I was in the middle of practice today, I was thinking how difficult it is for our attackers to put the ball away. That's a combination of the block and the people behind the block, and the bros, as we call them, are very good at keeping the ball off the floor. And if you don't have good play in that position, it really gets ugly, and you don't notice it until you don't have it. And so when you don't have good people in that position, rallies end quickly. And because you just can't keep it off the floor. So their level of competition within each other, along with other position groups, will help us try and reach our peak.
Greg, it doesn't matter how talented you are every year, there's always a certain degree of uncertainty as the season starts. As a coach, how do you kind of deal with that?
I just continue to say that life only exists in this moment. We're here, our life only exists right now. And so it doesn't exist yesterday, and it doesn't exist 3 days from now because we're not there yet. So how good can we be right now? And if you focus past that or be back there, you can't get better. So how can we get better right now? I don't know. I don't need to boil it down in a single moment, but that's how I feel.
If you were able to kind of look ahead, and you're talented, but everybody else is talented too.
Yes.
Is there one factor that you think could really, if it came together, could put this team above and beyond?
Man, I don't know if I could put it to one. There's too many. I think probably the one intangible piece is, once we establish our roles, are we able to maximize each person's role, and are they able to maximize their own role to better themselves but also better the people in front of them? If we're able to have 100% role clarity, buy-in, and ownership in our success as a group, then we have a chance to be our best. But if we don't do that, then it's going to be really hard to do that. So,
Got time for one more in the back.
Yeah, right here. So
bring it on, BK.
All of your answers were very professional, Craig, but I think this is one of the most important questions of all time. What is your favorite restaurant in Lexington? And your favorite coffee shop?
Oh boy, what am I allowed to say on that? My favorite restaurants are the ones that support Kentucky athletics and Kentucky volleyball.
Good answer.
And my favorite coffee shop, man, is the one that's sitting on my counter right at home, right next to the refrigerator. I make great coffee myself every morning with just a smidgen of cream. And
What was that coffee at the Gorge, the Puerto Rican? What'd you get?
yeah, that was a yellow package, vacuum packed. It was pretty solid.
There you go, that's
Only $7 a package at the Ashland Mini Mart.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Okay, we're gonna
guys.
do the,
Appreciate it.
Players next.